With the Cowboys going up against the Eagles on Sunday night, who do you think is going to come out on top and why?
I got Philly. We looked up the injury report for Dallas. Dak Prescott is on it. He has not been given a status for this game because he was practicing. They are leaning towards, from what we have read, they are leaning towards him being out because they want him to have a full week of practice before he goes into a game. And he was able to grip the ball and throw at practice today. But again, they do not want to rush him back. Now, anything can change. Again, it's Wednesday. Dak could have a perfect day on Thursday, a perfect day on Friday, and they could say, screw it, we'll roll the dice. In my opinion, I think that's foolish. If he's not ready yet, if he hasn't had a full padded, fully associated practice yet, I think that would be silly. You'd be putting your quarterback's future at risk, his health at risk, and your team's ability to win successfully. Because if you change quarterbacks midweek of practice, Cooper's getting first reps. Dak comes in, he hasn't played in a month and a half. That might mess up the entire flow of the team. I think you keep everything that you have right now. You let Cooper do his thing. You see if it's going to work, and if it does, the success continues and the experiment paid off. He played the best football he possibly could because the only loss that they have, he came in the fourth quarter. So you can't say that that one hiccup was because of Cooper. Anyway, to get back to my prediction, I think Philadelphia is going to actually combat this Dallas defense. I think that if Jordan Mailata can come back healthy at the left tackle position, he replaced, if I'm not mistaken, Jason Peters. I think that he is going to be able to be a solidifying force to assist in limiting the pass rush to the Cowboys. We know that is their bread and butter. We also know that the secondary of the Cowboys has been exceptional this season. Overall, their defense is a top 5 defense in the league for a reason. So we know that is going to be a challenge. I think that the combination of the mobility of Jalen Hurts, the running attack of the Eagles in general, which we know that Dallas's defense isn't necessarily perfect at. I think that's their weakest attribute. If I had to give them one flaw, is stopping the run. We know that Philly is one of the better running teams in the league. And of course, the development of Jalen Hurts and how he's ascended into the MVP conversation this season because of how he's been able to move the ball effectively, not just to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, but to everybody on that offense. I think that is going to show in colors on primetime in Philly. I think this is the game where Jalen Hurts turns all the naysayers away. I think that this is going to be the opportunity for him to show out and say, I'm going to be the quarterback for the Eagles moving forward. And I think A.J. Brown has a very, very, very big game. We all know that Trayvon Diggs is hyped up, had 11 interceptions last week, is a very physical and aggressive corner, but we also know that he likes to take the gamble in terms of always going for the interception or misreading and trying to jump or undercut a route. We saw it last week with Cooper Kupp where Cooper ran across the field and Trayvon tried to cut underneath and he missed. If A.J. Brown gets just an inch of separation because of his physicality, height, and strength, I think that he could potentially abuse Trayvon Diggs because I think that he is just an overall better receiver and a better matchup for himself in terms of being able to come down with the ball, going 50-50 in the air. And if not, I think Devontae Smith is a very good number 2 option. Dallas Goedert arguably is one of the better tight ends in the league. And I really believe that Philly's pass rush, which people tend to forget about, is going to be coming at Cooper Rush. I think that they're going to find ways in the backfield, just like Aaron Donald did last week. Not that Cooper Rush was horrible and not that he was perfect, but 10 of 16 for 102 yards wasn't exactly convincing for me. If Philly gets in the backfield with Fletcher Cox, Jordan Davis, Brandon Graham, I mean, the list goes on and on and on about pass rushers. I think that they are going to find a way to take Dallas off of their high horse, move on to 6-0, and I think that, like I said, Jalen Hurts will be the MVP of this game. I think this game will be anywhere from 7 to 10 points of a differential, so I think Dallas could potentially lose this game by 10 points if they do not come up with an answer on the offensive side of the ball. So this could be anywhere from 35-24, maybe even 35-24. I said that twice now, excuse me. 21-31, something of that nature. I think that Philadelphia takes this wholeheartedly, and I think that they have the capability to actually go out and really blow the doors off of it if possible.
I think overall, Kev, I'm with you. I think I got to favor the Eagles in this one. And I think for me, it's pretty simple. Like when it comes to the matchup of Cooper Rush and Jalen Hurts, I got to favor Jalen in this one. And I understand that, when you look at the Cowboys' success this year, Cooper Rush has definitely been a part of it. He's definitely, I would say, done enough to get them to this point where they're 4-1. But it has been their defense. Their defense is, I believe, the second best defense in the NFC. I believe the 49ers have the number 1 defense in the NFC. The Cowboys are right behind them. So, if Jalen Hurts in this offense with that Philly has are able to overcome that Cowboys defense, which has been surprisingly good so far, got to give them credit in that one. I think when it comes to the Eagles here, I think the Eagles should probably look at something that exposed the Cowboys in week one. That was the only game that they lost, and it was against Tampa. Tampa was able to effectively run the football against Dallas's defense. And Leonard Fournette had one of his best performances throughout the entire year so far against that Dallas defense that has been very solid so far. And I think when you look at how the Eagles run their offense, Miles Sanders is going to be a big key for me here. Just because, when it comes to Jalen and the read option, obviously Dallas is going to have to contend with that. But I think there's going to be some ample opportunities for Miles Sanders to possibly hit some run lanes and get good chunks of 6, 7, 8 yards, and maybe potentially break out some plays where he's able to get 15, 20 yards a chunk. When I look at the success that the Eagles offense has had, it's been a balanced effort. Obviously at this point, I haven't seen a game where Jalen just is carrying the offense and he's done it single-handedly to get them a win. It's really been a balanced effort here with a little bit of Jalen, a little bit of Miles Sanders in the backfield. Then you tie in what A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith can do alongside Dallas Goedert. This is a very potent offense, and it really does seem as if each focal piece of the offense isn't really overdoing another piece of the offense. It seems very complementary. And I think by and large, when it comes to the Eagles, that's what's made them successful. And not only that, their defense has been playing up to snuff. They've been able to bring effective pass rushes, and they've been able to turn the ball over. Probably one of the biggest games that they had this year was against the Vikings on Monday night just a few weeks ago, and they were able to turn the ball over constantly when they were going up against Kirk Cousins. Now, when it comes to Cooper Rush has been very solid with not turning the ball over. Through the first 5 games, or I should say the first 4 starts that he's had, he hasn't turned the ball over yet, hasn't thrown an interception. Now, granted, Dallas's offensive scheme really isn't focused on Cooper Rush here. He's definitely a piece of it, but it's an effective run game as well with Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard. And by and large, the Cowboys have been largely successful running a very methodical offense and really relying on their defense to get wins here. But I think this is going to be one of those games where I think the Cowboys offense is going to struggle to move the ball up and down the field. And I think this could be the first game that Cooper makes some mistakes and there's going to be some turnovers as a result from it. And overall, I just think that Eagles defense, they have the requisite pieces to be able to slow down that Cowboys offense. And I think when it's all said and done, I think they're only going to limit them to 17, 20 points at most. I think this is a game that the Eagles should win. I would say that they probably win this one by a touchdown. If I had to put a score on it, I'd probably say that the Eagles win this one. I'm going to say 27-20. I think this is one of those games where it's going to be kind of like a slow grind. Both teams are going to be able to move the ball effectively. But to me, I think both teams are going to make some decent second half adjustments. I just think the Eagles are going to make some better ones and force Cooper Rush into some errant throws. And that's where I think the Eagles could take advantage for some possible turnovers. And I think that the Eagles offense with Jalen Hurts and the core players that they have at their disposal, they're going to take advantage of it. But overall, this is going to be a very competitive game. It's going to be a very fun game to watch on Sunday night. But I think when it's all said and done, I just don't have enough faith in Cooper Rush and that Cowboys offense to get over the hump in this one. I think the Eagles are too stacked on the offense and the defensive side of the ball here. And I think when you tie those factors in, the Eagles move to 6-0 in the year.